Hi guys and welcome to Prediction Week 4, and we start with the lunchtime kickoff tomorrow at 12:30, which is Southampton versus Manchester United. What's going on at Manchester United at the moment? Started off brilliantly against Chelsea, winning 4-0 at Old Trafford. Even though, bits in that game, Chelsea were dominating the game but didn't take the chances. But, got off to a great start, grinded it out. And, as I said, got themselves a 4-0 win. Played really well in the first half against Wolves, and in the second half just fell to pieces. It was like a Jose Mourinho Manchester United team. Ended up drawing 1-1. Even had the penalty, and it was saved. It was missed, and then last week, getting it back to 1-1 against Crystal Palace at home, and then losing, and again missing another penalty. So what is going on? They don't know their penalty takers. They don't know their corner kick takers, their free kick takers. And it just seems to be an absolute mess at the moment. Alexis Sanchez is now gone. Chris Smalling is now gone. So they're actually running out of players as well. On top of that, they've got Martial, Martial, who's injured as well. It just seems to be a big, massive mess for Manchester United. We're only 3 games into the season. It doesn't look great at the moment. I do think that Southampton will cause problems for Manchester United. They'll definitely score tomorrow. I've definitely got them down to score tomorrow. But the way the Crystal Palace player just walked past their defence last week, to get the second goal, it's just disgraceful. It's like sometimes Arsenal do it as well. It's really frustrating. We'll get on to Arsenal later on in the show, but as for Manchester United, as I said, I know it's only 3 games gone, but worrying times for Manchester United definitely. I have put Manchester United to win for tomorrow though, because they just simply can't drop any more points. They're already 5 points behind Liverpool, something like that. So you're thinking now, if they lost to, Southampton tomorrow and Liverpool, they're 8 points behind Liverpool already. I can't really see that happening at this moment in time. I do think that Manchester United will grind out 3 points tomorrow. So I'm going to go Southampton 1, Manchester United 2. But let's just say if they did draw or lose and Liverpool win, really, 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 upsetting and troubling times for Manchester United fans. With just 4 games gone, if you can believe that. I've been there myself with Arsenal. I know how it feels. Believe me. On to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we have Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Obviously, Aston Villa getting their first win against Everton last week, and obviously Crystal Palace, going 1-0 up and then drawing. I think it was half. No, I think they conceded just before. Sorry, no. So let me get this right. It was 1-0 at half time, and then I think it was maybe 5 minutes into the second half, they conceded, and then they saved the penalty. They had the Manchester United had a penalty. They saved that, and obviously getting the win. I think it was the last kick of the. I think it was something like the 91st or 92nd minute, something like that. So their confidence, will be very strong going into this game. Again, it's going to be a different kind of fixture though. I do think Villa will cause problems, but because it's at home, and I think because Crystal Palace will have the confidence after the Manchester United victory, I'm going to go Crystal Palace 2, Aston Villa 1. We then have Chelsea versus Sheffield United. Again, Chelsea not playing too great, but they did get a result last week against Norwich. I think it was 3-2 in the end, something like that. And I'm going to go for a comfortable win for Chelsea this weekend. I do think things will start to click for them. They're not playing awfully, and they're actually playing some decent football. They just can't seem to get results, and can't seem to get a clean sheet. But I think it could all click this weekend for them, especially being at home as well, just before the international break. So I'm going to go Chelsea 3, Sheffield United 0. We then have Newcastle versus Watford. Obviously, Newcastle beating Tottenham last week. Nobody saw that coming. So obviously they've got confidence at the moment. Watford not doing too great at the moment, but again I'm going to go for a tight, tough game for this one. And it wouldn't surprise me the way things are going at the moment, that these 2 teams that are playing tomorrow, Newcastle and Watford, the way things are going at the moment, those 2 could be around the relegation battle. For towards the end of the season. I hope I'm wrong, because Watford's a very, very good side, and I hope the best for them this season. And Newcastle as well. They're very passionate fans, so they don't deserve that as well. But I think the way it's going at the moment, the way all the other teams are doing well, but them two, can't speak this morning. Them two, in particular, are really struggling to the start of the season. So, as I said, the way things are going, that could be the case. We then have Manchester City versus Brighton. Again, I'm going to go for a comfortable win for Manchester City. I'm going to go Manchester City 2, Brighton 0. We then have West Ham versus Norwich. Again, this could be quite a tight, tough game, but I'm going to give the 3 points to Norwich because they've impressed me a lot more than West Ham have. So I'm going to go West Ham 1, Norwich 2. We then have Leicester versus Bournemouth. Again, I'm going to go for a tight, tough game. Not usually. I usually go for like the 2-2s, 3-2s, stuff like that when it comes to Leicester, Bournemouth and stuff like that. But I'm going to go for a tight, tough game. Only because it's quite early in the season. They haven't really both impressed me yet. So I'm going to go Leicester 1, Bournemouth 1. We then have a 5:30 Burnley versus Liverpool. Again, I think Burnley will have a couple of chances, a couple of goes, but I think class will come into play. So I'm going to go Burnley 1, Liverpool 3. On to the Sunday kickoffs at 2 o'clock. We've got Everton versus Wolves. I think that could be a very, very, very tight, tough game. Everton's starting to, gel now. Wolves just more or less picking off from where they finished off last season. And I'm really, really looking forward to this one. I think this could be, apart from the derby, I think this could be this could be the game of the weekend. Could be very, very, very enjoyable. But I'm going to go Everton 1, Wolves 1. And at 4:30 we have the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. And I don't usually say this, but for 2 seasons in a row now, I'm actually brimming with confidence going into this game. I'm not nervous whatsoever. Spurs haven't really showed me anything that they're going to cause us any problems. Yes, they'll have a couple of chances. Last season they had about a 5-minute spell, but for the majority of that game, Arsenal were up for it. They got in their faces. The crowd was absolutely electric, and we ended up winning 4-2. I think it's going to be very, very, very similar. Obviously, it's not great to lose 3-1 ever, but something showed me last week that the mentality is changing at Arsenal. Even when we were 3-0 down, we were still going. We were still trying to get that goal. Tried to salvage something, and even when we got it to 3-1, you could see Pepe, you could see Joe Willock, urging the team forward. Come on, let's get it at least to 3-2. Let's make the the scoreline look a little bit more, reasonable, a little bit more respectful. Where we haven't gone to Anfield and done that in the past. We've been like 4-0 down. Half time. The game's been over after like 20 minutes, half an hour. It took Liverpool 40 minutes to get their first goal against Arsenal last week. So I do think times are changing for Arsenal. And I do think that Pepe is going to be a very, very, very good player for Arsenal as well. He was dominating that left-hand side last week, and I think Danny Rose could be in massive trouble this weekend, especially if Pepe starts. I think it's going to be a very, very similar game to what we had last year, in terms of the crowd being electric and Arsenal getting in their faces and not giving Tottenham a chance to breathe and get into the game. I'm going to go for a come-to-win for Arsenal. Spurs haven't showed me anything yet. They should have got battered to Manchester City. And I don't think it was anything to do with their defending. I just think that Manchester City just were poor at finishing that day, and they could have won it if it hadn't been for VAR. They lost to Newcastle last week, and for bits and bobs, and you could possibly even say for 70 minutes of the first game of the season against Aston Villa, even Aston Villa were dominating the game. Spurs haven't shown me anything yet, whereas Arsenal, they weren't great against Newcastle, but they grinded out a result. I thought they were fantastic in the second half against Burnley, got the 3 points. They showed a great mentality against Liverpool last week, even when they were 3-0 down. Okay, we lost, but as I said, great mentality. I'm bringing with confidence going into this game. I'm going to go Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1. So that's my predictions for this weekend, guys. I don't know what the hell's the matter with me this morning. I can't really speak. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time, because it's an international break, which is kind of annoying. So, like, say if Arsenal do win, their North London derby on Sunday, you bring me with confidence, and now everyone's got to, separate, get their separate ways for the international break. It is annoying, but it's got to be done. So until then, I will see you in 2 weeks' time, and have a fantastic weekend, guys. Thank you for watching.